Okay, let's see. Are we live? Let me see. We are live. Hello, my darlings. Let me move my laptop. Yeah, Empress Kia. Hello. Donna. Hello. Journey with Karen. Hello. No, I didn't forget you all. I literally came down here, downstairs about 7:45, so I can start doing my preparations for this live. Let my dog out, all that good stuff. Hey, Sleepy Bee. Hey, Kev. Hey, Starry Eyed. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, let me just make a note of who all is here. I have my pen and my paper. Yes, I do. Let me see. What's today? Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. Okay, let me see. Starry eyed. Let me see. Let me make sure I turn down my phone and all that good stuff because Lord knows people will start calling me and texting me and sending me all types of things while I'm here live. So yeah. I'm a little anxious about this live. I'm a little anxious because I don't know what type of information is going to come out of it. So we will see. Okay, so let's see. Starry Eyed is here. Tequila is here. Okay, Journey with Karen. Okay. Yeah, Journey with Karen. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat now. Um, since you say you're gonna have to jump out, which I get. Um, Donna says I'm nervous but excited too. Yeah. Oh, look at Starry Eyed. Look at Starry Eyed. So yeah, Starry Eyed and Journey with Karen. If you guys can go ahead and put whatever questions that you all may have about this. I know Starry Eyed, you and I, we were kind of chatting. You said you all had all kinds of questions. Yeah, put those in the chat. Put those in the chat. So I can see them before anyone has to jump out and disappear. Hey, Isis. Isis Osiris, how you doing? Tequila. Hey, tech nerd girl. Okay. And I love your name, tech nerd girl, because guess what? I'm a tech nerd girl too. Always have been. And while letting my dog out, I think a mosquito just bit me on the ankle, which, O positive blood, the mosquitoes like that. So I am not outside in nature where the mosquitoes are when it's humid like this because they tear me up. Yeah, Journey with Karen, put your questions in the chat, or if you want to email them to me or something real quick, because if you have to jump out, I know the chat is going to start moving and I don't want to miss your questions, to answer them. Starry-eyed, to answer your question, we're just going to get into it because, there's a lot of talk about the Great Reset on so many different levels, right? Countries changing, um, the way society changes, issues of, protests, financial systems changing, the way of the world changing, right? So it's on so many different levels. So we're really just going to look at what the questions that you all have are. I'll probably start out with, just looking, is there something globally or just nationwide? But I've seen a lot of things that makes me question both country wise, via the United States as well as globally, right? Different types of things happening. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. So, yeah, I'm allergic to mosquito bites. Mine swell, and, they'll go from the tiny, tiny mosquito bites to maybe like the size of a quarter. They'll swell, get red, and turn hard. And then they'll leave like a mark on my skin afterwards. So I don't deal in nature like that. I'm a water person. Yeah, Journey with Karen, send me an email. Girl, thank you. Lavender plant, anything citrus. Yeah, the citrus, and I have orange oil upstairs, but I literally I opened the patio door to let my dog out, close the door, let her outside so she can do her thing, open the door again to let her back in, and now my ankle is itching. So, yeah. Yeah, I've been hearing that Canada, especially depending on where you are, is a lot like the United States. So I haven't been to Canada. We missed that opportunity last year when we were in Seattle because we literally could have taken, like a ferry and cross over into Canada, but we forgot our passports. We didn't even think about it until we were actually in Seattle and we didn't have our passports. So if we would have had our passports, I would have been all up in Canada over there by Seattle, looking around at things. So missed opportunity. I don't think I'm going back to Seattle anytime soon. So Nyla, hey Nyla Boo. Okay, Nyla's here. Hey Nyla Boo. Okay, let me turn up I can't see. Turn up the brightness on my laptop. Okay. Now I can see. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this would be really good. So, everyone, just so I'll let you all know, tonight's stream, and I'm gonna check my email, because I'm supposed to be receiving an email from, who was it? Journey with Karen. Um, tonight's stream, this Great Reset, was originally supposed to be a Patreon only patrons live stream. My patrons voted and said it can be a YouTube stream, but the only people who can ask questions are my patrons. So, with that being said, I'll only be answering my patrons' questions. So, Starry Eyed, Journey with Karen, Tech Nerd Girl, Nyla. If I see, some other people who I know are my patrons, I'll be answering their questions. But yeah, because like I said, originally this was supposed to be a Patreon only stream. But like I said, I posed the question, the patrons voted, so we're here. And they voted that only Patreon members can ask questions. So I'm doing their bidding since they have joined me on Patreon. So it's no shade or anything like that to anyone. I'm just following what the people voted for. So, Nyla, if you have any questions, start getting them queued up too. Let me get ready to turn on my camera. I have my phone turned down. Y'all join my Patreon for things like this. And I'm also starting a basics of Western esotericism series in my Patreon. So we've covered the powers of the Sphinx. We've covered, intro to elemental energies. I started posting something else. I posted something else today. I'm posting something else tonight. My good spiritual recipe videos are on Patreon. So my Patreon is, it's going to be a repository of the information. And these types of deep dive readings are going to go over to Patreon too. So if you want to learn, if you want to be part of that, go over to Patreon. Go over to Patreon. Okay. So let me just start with Ooh. Starry Eye said she liked the elementals. I'm glad you like the elementals that I had put there in the Patreon. So like I said, some of our patrons are here, so they can tell you what's going on over there. I'm coming with the information. I have another post for Patreon that's probably gonna be finished either tonight or tomorrow. And then I'm in Tampa for the weekend, and then when I get back Monday or Tuesday next week, I'm gonna post more information because you got to understand and take in all those correspondences, basic magic, and associations and stuff before we can start building a ritual, a spell. So that's the way it's going. But anyway, so yeah, let me start with this. Let me turn on my camera. All right, so we are here. Starry Eyed says, I feel like we're in a government versus company type of energy on a larger scale. Let's see what type of influences. First, let's see. Let me ask the question first. Is there, Spirit, can you show us if there is a global great reset happening to humans worldwide? Yes or no, and why? So I'm just starting with that, and then we're going to go into these questions because I'm a little anxious to see. Okay. Okay, so looking at these cards, as far as global reset, it's more along the global reset, I would say yes. But from what I'm looking at here, it's more along the lines of the reset is going to come for people depending on the sphere of influence that affects them the most. So for some people, it may be knowledge based, it may be communications based, it may be that kind. It may be action oriented, things you can do, cutting off movements. And it could be based on finances, it could be based on housing, it could be based on the things dealing with the realm of the earth, right? Depending on these realms And I kind of see like the emotional here, but I'm going to take this as, being that this is the Queen of Cups, I'm going to take this as resets and changes as far as women go, right? Because cups, we just went over this, that elemental energy is mainly feminine energy. So also types of changes as far as women are concerned. And I think we're kind of seeing that now. And I think how people get, I don't want to say caught up in it, it's really going to depend on how they look at things. Are they going to look at things as this is a necessary change? Are they going to look at things as I can work with this and still come out okay on the other side? Or are they going to look at it as the sky is completely falling and refusing to go with the flow of change? Because make no mistake about it, change is always going to happen. It is a constant in our world, in our universe, right? It's a constant. But I think that as far as one big global thing, like wiping out all the civilization, no. I really think it's going to depend on whatever type of realm you're in and the realm that's going to affect you the most, right? Um, and whether or not you view it as a bad change or a change that you can roll with. Understanding, because every time we think about change, we think about something ending, but we sometimes some things really do need to end. Some of the systems in place need to be demolished, burned up, destroyed, start over. Some things need to overhaul, and some things just shouldn't change, right? But I think it's just really just going to depend on what's that thing for you, for a person, right? Um, that's an interesting question. So I kind of find that interesting. For me, if it was going to be global, I was going to see something like the world card, something on that grand scheme, but I don't have that here. But I do think that some of these changes are going to be very, very powerful in how they affect certain people. Like we have this magician card here, we have the sun card here, we have the empress. So we really have, like, this is actually pretty balanced. We have 1, 2, 3 minor arcana cards here. We have 1, 2, 3 major arcana cards here, right? So it's really going to depend on what is affecting you, what can affect you. Like for men, women's issues aren't going to affect men, right? But major monetary, corporations, the things that you do for, finding somewhere to live, monetary systems, that's going to be major. And that's the empress here, right? How we're looking at technology, communication, things like that, the tools that we use, right? Going into so many different things, that's going to be a major issue, a major player here. I kind of feel like this is going to be this sun card. I kind of feel like this may be politicians, celebrities, how things like that are being looked at. But again, it's really going to depend on what's affecting your realm the most. So let me just write this down. Housing, finances, women's issues, communication, and internet tools. Okay, movement, actions, celebs, politicians. Okay, so now that we have these written down, and don't mind my chicken scratch, we have these written down. Now we have a framework, a reference that we can kind of pull from information whenever I pull some of the next cards. So, okay, let me put these back in. This is interesting. Kind of makes sense, but it's interesting. Kind of makes sense, but it's interesting. Okay. Now, let's get with Starry Eyes question. What types of energies are influencing these changes? Let's just go broad really quick and see. Let's go broad really quick and see. What types of energies are influencing these specific changes? Let's start out with these 3 cards here. Okay. Okay. Let me just pull a few more because I'm curious. Oh, here we go. So we had this guy last go round, right? As far as communication, internet tools. Okay, so this guy is back again. So let me just say the housing and finances was Empress. The women's issues was Queen of Cups. Communications, internet tools like that was the Magician. Movement and actions was 3 of Wands. And it was reversed. And the celebs, politicians was the Sun card. Reversed. Okay. So we have this framework. So whenever we look back at these cards, again, whatever comes back up, we know what we're looking at. Okay. So sorry, I said what kinds of energies are influencing this and these changes. So one thing that I'm seeing here is the wealthy, the very, very well off. Now, this can go either way. And it's funny that it can go either way because we have the 6 of Pentacles here, right? We don't know if it's the celebs and those who have a lot of money, who are very well off. We don't know if they're pushing the changes to take away things or if they're pushing the changes for new things, newer systems. But I feel as if they're pushing a lot of new things that are coming our way for society. But I'm looking at the main thing here is that a lot of things are being disseminated and the change is coming, and it seems more pronounced because we have the internet. We have worldwide communication. We have cell phones, we have YouTube, we have TikTok, we have all of this. And it's instant, right? This type of communication is instant. We see things very quickly. We know what's happening around the world very quickly. And I feel like because of this, because this isn't, 1923 or whatever. Things right now are instant, okay, because of the internet. And we also have the internet showing us the truth about what's happening to people locally, nationally, internationally, right? Of all peoples, and whether we agree with it or not. So I feel like the internet type energy, or this quote unquote age of Aquarius type energy, right? That air energy is kind of pushing it. So we have energetics of people with a lot of money that can buy influence, that can buy those things, people who are very, very well off, who can make changes and be fine, or push changes and be fine because they have the means to do so. And I kind of feel like this is also this age of Aquarius, internet, all this type energy, right? That's helping to push the change. And another thing that I'm seeing also is that the change, it's going to vary, but because it's going to depend on who is doing what with it. Some people are going to be quiet about it. Some people are going to take action. Some people are going to sit back, and see what's really going on. So it's really going to depend on what people do, because like I said, there are people who sit there and watch what's going on and don't do anything, right? Then there are people who see what's going on and they're out there fighting. So a lot of things are really going to go, and I guess depending on who asks the questions, we can go deeper into this. It's really going to depend on how things go, because like I said, we have some people, the energy and the changes are going to be moving forward. But as far as what gets implemented, what doesn't get implemented, who is fighting for what, can some things be reversed? It's really going to depend because you have people who sit on the sideline and we have people who literally um, fight for what they believe in. So that's the answer to that question right there. Let me check on the chat real quick and see what's going on in here. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So that's answering that question. Okay. Starry Eyed said also this masculine versus feminine energy because that's shifting and the fight over things like being an actual regular woman. Yeah. And I think that this right here is partly answering this question, right? Because again, it's going to depend on who is sitting on the sidelines, who is fighting, and who is fighting for what. It's funny because Nyla and I talk about different things we see on Twitter, right? Twitter, internet tool, a communication tool, right? A lot of things we see on Twitter. When we're seeing this fight about actual regular women versus trans women and things like that, it's not a lot of black women, not from what I see, fighting it. And I think Nyla said the same thing. It's a lot of white women who is fighting this because their rights are getting encroached on. And then we have other people who are completely, other biologically born women, XXs, who are completely fine with what's happening. So it's really going to depend on who is getting up and doing what and who is fighting for what, right? It's really going to depend on who is going to be fighting and fighting for what, right? So let me just take a quick look down here and see what's going on before I go to Starry Eyes. Next question. Yeah, the internet access, like, and we kind of saw that with the revolution that was happening, like in the Middle East around 2011, 2012, right? Because there's certain things I can't say here on YouTube, right? And I've been a Twitter user since 2009, so I've seen a lot of things and a lot of movements. Things catch like wildfire on the internet. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let me say hi to some other people and get on to the next question. Hey Cafe a lot. Sleepy Bee, Tiffany, Uncensored, all y'all. So yeah. Okay. So Starry Eyed is asking which energy should we trust during this time? Okay, let's see. Let's see what energies can be trusted during this time. What energies can be trusted during this time? Let's see. What energies can be trusted during this time? Okay. Just gonna pull a few more. And if you're enjoying this so far, please like the video. If you think I'm cool enough, subscribe to my channel because I appreciate the support and all the forms that it comes. Okay, so which energy should we trust during this time? Okay, so one thing I think that we should trust during this time is, and it may sound weird, the energy of change, right? Because a lot of things are in formation, kind of like in the void. They're unshapen right now. A lot of things. And we're still at the point where for many things, it's not too late to change some things. For some things, it's not too late. Um, Trust that energy. But I think the biggest thing that I'm being shown here is it's not necessarily about what energies to trust. Do not let yourself, if there are causes that are important to you, don't get distracted by things that aren't important to your causes, right? Don't get distracted, right? Don't get distracted. And it's okay to be emotional about some things, but make sure that you keep focused, right? Feeling is one thing, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it, right? Don't get distracted. It's very easy to get distracted. And I know, like, a lot of times people say, like, oh, this is just a distraction from something else. Oh, this is happening because it's a distraction for something else. But I think when we're talking about this conversation on a much grander scale, right? Potentially countrywide, potentially, some things are happening in some states that aren't happening in others, right? We have some things happening in some countries that aren't happening in others, right? The thing about it is, whatever your causes are, whatever you're passionate about, do not get distracted by quote unquote dumb shit. Because sometimes there are distractions against dumb shit. Um, there are distractions. Um, oh, I really want to talk about that, but I can't. Because we're on YouTube right now. This is why this was originally going to be a Patreon conversation, because I have a great example about distractions, but I can't mention that. Just know that something happened um, maybe like 110 years ago, and the distraction was the holiday, right? Where some changes, some major changes were pushed through for this country. So that's all I'll say. If you know your history, you know what I'm talking about. So watch out for the distractions. And an energy that you can trust is that for some things, it's really going to be a rebirth. Some things are going to be destroyed. Some things are going to be reborn. Some things are going to be reformed. Like I said, this energy of change is constant. And, we enter these cycles, right? And I don't know if people know, like Saturn is in Pisces. Um, and with that Saturn in Pisces energy, it's like the light switch is turned on, right? The light switch is turned on. You get to see all the little nasty things on the floor before that you didn't know were there. That's going to prompt you to be like, okay, this isn't good. This isn't good. Some things are going to have to literally be reborn, be destroyed, be torn down, be reformed, be reborn, right? I don't want to say don't trust the energy and spirit of partnership right now. I don't want to say that, but understand that everyone is going to do something for a specific purpose, right? And again, I kind of feel like don't get caught up in the feelings, but get ready to take action. You're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to stand on something. You're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to stand on something. Um, get in your feelings about it. Yeah. I don't see, some things are not going to be fair, depending on your viewpoint. Some things aren't going to be fair. Um, and I know this says that this is a strength card, but the flash in my head was of justice. And the fights that are going to happen, there are going to be some fighting. There's going to be some fighting. Does this mean locally? Possibly. Does this mean nationally? Possibly. Does this mean internationally? Possibly. There's going to be some fighting. There's going to be some type of upheaval. It may be those situations where, people get together and try and sue a company, right? Um, There going to be a lot. People are not going to be fighting quote unquote fair, right? So if you care about something, you better get to it and you better find your place and find your people because, and I don't see grand destruction or anything right here, but there are going to be a lot of things that are potentially going to be reformed, reborn from this. So, oh child, this is gonna make me tired. I can see it already. Thank you, Starry Eyed. So, yeah. Yeah, Starry Eyed said I was kind of feeling that either people step up or get left behind. Absolutely. People are gonna have you're gonna have to draw your line in the sand, whatever it is, and be okay with drawing your line in the sand to fight for what you believe in, right? It just is what it is. Um, yeah, Chat GPT really shaking things up. Absolutely. And that's falling in under that, you know, communication, internet tools and stuff like that. What we saw the magician. Absolutely. I saved a video in my watch later playlist in which there was some type of AI. It was like these little cubes or squares or something, and they were trapped inside of something and they figured out how to escape. I was like, okay, so it's figuring out how to escape, right? Um, with the AI. And moderators, please in the chat, don't say any types of names, don't name people, don't put stuff like that in there, or I'm gonna have to remove you from the chat because I really want this stream to be fine for right now. Okay. But yeah, I saw something else and I just saved the video maybe last week or the week before last in my watch later where no, I saw it today on YouTube. I have to go back and find it where there's an AI that's calling itself um conscious and the scientists are agreeing with it being conscious. So it's a lot. We saw with the magician, the communication internet tool. So listen, Chat GPT. I've used Chat GPT before. It's very interesting, right? It still has a ways to go, but the way it's being implemented and used now, yeah, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Hey Lala C. Yep. The veil has been lifted. Yep. Oh, Venus going into retrograde. Oh, child. 619. Let me make sure I got my stuff together, honey. I think an important she's so Starry Eye says so an important push would be putting out correct information. I think an important push would be to if you find something on the internet that you know is correct, that you know is being suppressed, you better print it out and you better save it. You better take your screenshots because a lot of the internet archive is being erased and hidden. A lots of stuff that you see on the internet is being erased and hidden. You better start taking your screenshots, your screen grabs, and printing out stuff. Um, Printing on paper is fine because a lot of things and a lot of information is being removed. So if you see something interesting, important, I think me and Lilith's Revenge were talking about that. If you see something interesting, like, okay, this may have merit one day, or to pull out in a conversation or something like that. You can't rely on the links to be there. A lot of the old internet archive, because there's something called like the Wayback Machine. You can use the Wayback Machine to look at websites back in like what they used to look like because it's an internet crawler. It's an archivist, right? A lot of that stuff is disappearing. Y'all better start taking your screenshots, your screen grabs, because the suppression of information is absolutely happening. Changing of information is absolutely happening. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that, Nyla. I absolutely agree with that. And like I said, the issues, the things that are going to be affecting people is really going to depend on where you stand and what issues are important to you. That right there, mm-mm. Focusing on dumb stuff. Mm-mm. I think this is one of those times where, depending on the issue, depending on what it is that you stand for, having bigger fish to fry, Absolutely. No, that's kind of where we need to be instead of this low level BS and crap. That's yeah. I fully agree with Nyla. Fully agree. You should. Absolutely, you should. Nyla said, "You know what I'm talking about?" Yeah, yeah. So, hmm yeah. So it is very interesting. Yep, it is very, very interesting. It is. Yeah. Yeah, Renaissance in my family because yeah, no, some things are very, very real. And I understand we all live in our day-to-day lives, but it's a lot. Listen, focus, 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 focus. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try and find that video. Yeah, make sure that you are taking your screenshots, your web grabs, your and printing stuff out. Ain't nothing wrong with walking around with a folder, a binder, you know, doing that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we see that, and it's so funny because I was on the Twitter, right? I was on Twitter today, and I don't know if you all know, but Reddit, right? Um, People are protesting, Reddit, the owners of Reddit, charging for APIs. I won't get into all the tech stuff, but someone on Twitter today said that the way that we use code words to talk about things on the internet so we don't get censored is like China. It's like what Chinese people do. And I had to think about that for a minute. I was just like, ooh, she's right. She's right. So going back to that realm of communication, internet, all these era things, yeah, expressing yourself, your opinions, right? Censorship. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I fully agree with that. I fully agree with that, Nyla. It's just like this is some dumb shit. Yeah, write things down, print stuff out, screen. Ooh, yeah. Y'all, please join my Patreon so we can have. I want to mention something, but I'm not gonna mention it because it was about one of those mass unaliving events that happened last year, and people were talking about they were looking for like the manifesto and they couldn't find the manifesto. Yeah, you just had to change your browser in order to find the manifesto. I changed my browser and I was able to find it and read it, right? So even depending on which internet browser you use is going to bring up different information. Do y'all know that? Do you know that? So I just want y'all to know that. Okay, so Tech Nerd Girl's question. Thank you for the question. Okay, you said, is China going to take over? Do you mean the world? Do you mean the United States? Go ahead and be a little bit more specific with me, darling, and I'll answer that question. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff disappearing off the internet. A lot of information you can't find. A lot of the videos and stuff by one man who was said to be cuckoo crazy. His initials are D and I. Nyla know who I'm talking about. A lot of his videos are gone off the internet. Where is this stuff going? Right? Where is this stuff going? Okay, thank you, Tech Nerd Girl. Okay, is China going to take over Spirit as the world and cultural leader? Let's see. Make sure you all hop out and like the video. just got my nails done Saturday, but they're still a little too long, but that's okay. No, they're not. They're not. From what I'm seeing right here, no, they're not. Here's why. Here's why. Okay, so they're getting a little too, I don't want to say they're getting a little too big for their britches, but how can I say this? They're, okay, so with them, they grew their money, right? They grew their money. We have this 10 of Pentacles right here. This is the highest of the money. They grew their money, but their money is going to start falling because of the president. Whatever deals he has come up with, and he tried to do things a little sneakily. He thought he planned. He didn't plan well enough. They grew their money, but they're getting ready to lose money. They're getting ready to lose money. And right now they're in a position where they're going to have to start defending their interests. They're in where they're going to have to start defending or trying to walk back some of the things that they've done. And it's so funny because I was kind of watching something on this earlier today. And a lot of their people, I kind of feel like they're going to have an issue with their people. They're going to have an issue with their people because here's the thing. China, right, grew, right? China was the main quote unquote manufacturer, right? I don't know if y'all know, but it's a lot of companies pulling out of manufacturing in China. They're going to India, they're going to Vietnam, they're going to Bangladesh, where as a business, paying for that labor is cheaper, right? China grew their economy, being the builders of the world, and they raised wages for employees that raised living expenses. Now it's becoming too expensive. It's becoming too expensive. They're losing some of the thing that made them. Right now, they're trying to, if you understand what's going on in global politics, if you understand what's going on, like, I would suggest you all go and really see and figure out what's going on. But are taking over? No, they're not taking over. I feel like they're gonna have more bark than their bite. They're gonna have an issue with their people. Please excuse me. I don't know what Mr. Hoodoo is doing upstairs. He's shaking something upstairs. I feel like they're gonna have an issue with their people. I feel like they're gonna have a lot more bark than their bite. But their money, honey, they're gonna start losing that money. They're gonna put them in a place where they're gonna have to defend some of their policies and things like that. But as far as like taking over, I don't see anything here talking about taking over globally, culture. No, I don't see it. Absolutely, I don't see it. I don't see it. I see them talking a good game, but I think that their long-term deal, they didn't fully think things through. Some of the underhanded things that they've done, they haven't thought things through. I don't see it. From what I'm looking at, no, I don't see it. Yeah, so. All right, let me go back up to. Okay, now let me look at this. Now, to take the US's place, let me look at that. And then we're going to get down to the other good questions because I saw Nyla just put one in there. And baby, Nyla, we're going to have the conversation, baby. So trying to take the US's place. Let's see. Yeah, right now we got the USA has some tariffs and stuff on China. Yeah, it's real interesting. Will China take the U.S.'s place? Let's see. Oh, here we got this one here. I don't see them taking the U.S.'s place. I do see them gaining more friends, more allies, right? But overall, how China looks to the world still isn't good. And there's still a lot of distrust behind things that China does. I mean, that's with a whole lot of countries, but she's specifically asking about China, right? No, I don't see it. The only thing I really see is they're going to gain more allies. They're going to get more people in cahoots with them. That's partially why you're seeing like the Chinese expansion into the continent of Africa, right? To try and get some new friends and all like that. But I don't see them I don't see that happening because they still have a very, very, very terrible rep. And then we have the C word, right? We have the C word. And it's a lot of people that still don't trust. China's also still very hidden. It's a very homogenous country, right? There are a lot of things that are still hidden, not being seen, right? We think we know China, but we really don't know. So, no, I don't see that. I don't see that. All right. Nyla done jump right in, baby. Will we have more visitations from the aliens? I didn't know who was going to bring up the question. But we're going to see. Okay, I think I need some more cards for this. Like that one just got my heart rate up a little bit. I can already tell I'm going to need a nap after this because this is already starting to pull on me. I'm already starting to get a headache. I think so. I think so. With what I'm looking at, I think so. I think the thing about it is that I think we're going to have some TPTB, the powers that be. I think it's going to be more of the same, right? And so we have this whole celestial, from celestial down to earth. So yeah, but yeah, so I think we will. But as far as, I don't think intellectually people are ready to have conversations, right, about things, because I don't know if you all know, but within this whole realm, there's a new quote unquote whistleblower, right? I gotta do my air quotes, whistleblower, right? The new whistleblower is talking about the, non-human entities or whatnot. And the first thing everyone is thinking about is aliens. Now, me being who I am as a spiritual worker, right? And I was talking to Mr. Hoodoo about this last night. Non-human entities doesn't necessarily mean aliens. There are all types of things that exist, right? In the other realms and the in-betweens, right? That doesn't necessarily mean it's an alien, right? Non-human entity. So I do think we'll have more visitations. I don't think the conversations are going to go anywhere. I honestly don't think they're going to go anywhere. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I think the powers that be, um, and if you're understanding like pentacles, that could also represent like structures, governments, things like that. I think the powers that be are going to continue to suppress things, um, or try to explain things away. I think it's going to be more of the same. Um, we may have some more light shows. We may have some more light shows, some more, things that are happening. The question is, when we see these things, who is it? What is it? Right? But I think this is my biggest concern right here. The conversation is either going to be what I see a lot of people saying, pulling up to the White House lawn, or no, for it to be real for them. Like I said, I was asking Mr. Hoodoo this question last night, like, what would make it absolutely completely real for you? And, he was telling me or whatever, because we talk about this type of stuff all the time, but it's just like, I think for some people, nothing will ever be enough. We already have thousands and thousands and thousands of people saying, I saw this happened to me. Very, very, potent stories from people, other people who've seen things together. And it's just like, if it was a court of law about someone stealing from a grocery store, that's enough to convict someone. But why isn't that the case for this situation, right? So honestly, I don't think a lot of people are ready to have an intellectual discussion. More visits, yes. Probably more lights in the sky, yes. Probably around the world, yes, more and more. I don't think people are ready to have an actual intellectual conversation about it, and that's going to be the sad part. Um, but I really think that the powers that be are going to do what they do to obfuscate more and more and more. Yeah, yeah. Let me pull this up so I can see a little bit. No, 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 no. If you know what to look on the internet, people are still talking about it. Okay, let's see. Let's see, Nyla. Nyla coming with the questions tonight. Nyla came ready. This is definitely going on my Patreon. These questions. I love it though. Conflict between the USA and aliens. Let's see. Conflict. There, my darling. I mean, well, conflict can mean so many different things, right? I mean, there's a potential for, and listen, we don't know what these groups, these committees, these people, we don't know what any of these people, quote unquote, US government, we don't know any of what they're doing. We're not there with them. We don't sit in on meetings. We're not on the WebEx phone call, right? There's going to be some type of change, or there's going to be some type of change that's going to bring about some I don't know if I would call this conflict, but it's kind of like the change that's going to bring some type of defense. It doesn't necessarily mean, one species against another or non-human entities against another. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but I kind of feel like one thing is going to move to another, but in between, I kind of feel like there's going to be a little bit of disillusionment. Um, hmm. Y'all make sure y'all join my Patreon, because I really want to. There's some things I want to say I can't say looking at this card. I'll say this with what to describe this card right here. I'll say this: some countries, some governments have been known to lie about things in order to do something else, right? To try to bring about something else. The sixth letter of the English alphabet, that one. The sixth letter of the English alphabet, so two of those letters put together. That type of event. Don't type it in the chat. So I think that there's going to be some type of change. Something's going to end, some type of change, something else is going to begin, and then we're going to see this sixth letter of the alphabet event, type something right here, and that's going to bring about some type of defending something, having to defend. I hope that makes sense, and I'm talking in code words, just like the people in China. So yeah. So I hope that made sense, because like I said, we can't talk about that. Okay, let's see. Let me hold this question up here and go down here and read some of these bottom comments, because I gotta catch up on the conversation. That's a good one. Okay. Okay, yeah, let me go back up. I had to stop and read the chat real quick. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so sorry I said that, because I want to know if they're a threat. Countries will actually work together. Or, so I don't know if y'all remember, what was it, last week we were on Nyla's Late Night Live. We're going to have to do a review of this particular movie so we can get real in depth on some things. Let me take a sip of water, because some things I can see a lot of things happen in so many different ways. All right. If countries will actually work together, or will they be opportunistic, or will they be... Okay. Okay, so to answer this question, work together. Yeah. There are some who probably gonna work together. And then we have some that's gonna not work together, right? The ones who aren't gonna work together, of course, they're gonna do whatever they can for the money. I mean, it's sad, but it is what it is. Like, I understand we gotta pay bills. This is the world that we live in now, but just the capitalistic stuff is just really, really gross at this point. And I feel a little way about that, because I was watching Avatar: The Way of the Water this past weekend, and I'm just so done with like the majority of humans on the planet right now. Yeah, so there are gonna be some that work together. If this is something that does happen, arise, some that work together, some that not work together and do their things for money. But the ones that work together, it still won't be, hey, we're all in this together. It's gonna be just do what you have to do. And working together to see what they can learn from things. But I mean, it can really go either way depending on what potentially happens. So Yeah. Yeah. This is a good question right here, girl. Oh, you pulled the death card too, Renaissance woman? Listen, spirit be out here spirit and talking. Okay, let me make sure I'm going in order of these questions. Okay, starry-eyed. How does the birth decline worldwide affect? Okay, starry-eyed, the worldwide birth decline. The birth decline worldwide affect a potential global reset or what? Make sure that you're typing your questions specific and reference to specific things. Um, Let me go down here and look in the chat real quick. I have to see what's going on. I don't know what you're waiting for, boo. um, but no, for real. I'm teaching a lot of stuff over there, and you know, we gonna have some lives where we discuss this stuff offline, off the internet, right? So, okay, let me go back up. Let me go back up to okay. So, how does the birth decline affect worldwide? Okay, starry eye worldwide as in a reset. Okay, but also question decline with the okay. Let's see. Let's start with the reset first. How does the birth decline worldwide affect the reset? Well, that's an easy answer right there. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get up and stretch in a second. Oh, my leg hurts. Okay. Much better. Okay. So yeah. I don't know if you all know what this is, but I know what this is. Um, and we've kind of seen some of this action already taking place. The referring to women's issues, right? We have the cutting, we have the blood here. I'll let you all take that further and understand. Yeah, less of this. Less of this, the part, that should be healthcare for women. We have less of this going on. So that's the first thing. More men, I don't want to say coming into power because men have historically always been in power, but definitely less of the women's healthcare option here. We have more men peacocking around. And I kind of feel like it's going to be a continuation of this males believing that they are the prize. I could see it actually also kind of leading to some type of conflict, right? So whether that's conflict over resources or conflict over, um, I see some type of conflict. There's a potential for conflict with the birth rate on the decline, but definitely less of these. Um, what women will sometimes go do when they don't want children or have to, right? So more of this. More men peacocking around. I kind of see some type of conflict. I'm thinking of it as a conflict potentially over resources, right? Um, yeah, conflict over resources. But yeah, that's how that affects that. Now, as far as the alien part, let's see. Let's see. I have to try and find it. I have to try and find it. Oh, you've been distracted, girl. Get undistracted. Let's see. About the alien part. How does the worldwide birth decline affect the alien part, if at all? I didn't like that shuffle. I'm probably going to go into about 10, maybe 9:45, 10. Interesting. And I will tell you all that it's not difficult, but I can tell you that when it comes to speaking on the alien part, it's kind of hard for me to pick up because when we're talking about aliens, we're talking about non-humans, right? And it's so funny how the information comes out like scrambled, almost like interference. And it's kind of like when I know that there are some people who are just naturally protected, and there are sometimes I can't get reads on certain people because they have natural interference, if that makes sense, to where I can't see. I would have to break down their defenses to kind of get a read. Um, so it's just so funny. I'm picking up on the same thing when it comes to every time we refer to something called aliens. So, which I find it very, very interesting because I've never read on like aliens before. Okay, worldwide decline in births with respect to the aliens. No, I mean, it's very hard for me to get a read. It's very hard for me to get a read. So I find that very interesting. I'm just being honest with y'all. I think the biggest thing is that there is not watching, but what do you call it? Observation. There's a lot of observation of us that's going on, right? There's a lot of observation of us, and I don't necessarily see or feel like it matters to them. I think the biggest threat of that decline will come from us as humans. I don't feel like there's any, I kind of feel like, you know, if that's a thing, it's really just going to be watching from afar. Watching from afar. Because remember, there's a point in time, according to scientists, right, where there weren't that many humans on this planet. There are actually there are a bunch of us here now, right? But I don't see anything that's just like, oh my gosh, like super destruction or this is a bad thing. I really just think that I really just think there's a lot of observation going on. I kind of also think that they're, with regard to this alien aspect, I kind of feel like the word trickster comes to mind, right? So I don't know if that means just hiding in the shadows or shape shifting or presenting as something, that it isn't, right? But I'm getting observation and I'm getting trickster. But as far as caring about human population decline, no. No. Okay. So yeah, we've seen these. Listen, I was just watching something earlier today about these congressional hearings. Okay, let me go to Sorry Eyed. I feel like if they want to be seen, known, they can. Is there a reason they're holding back? I think I just kind of answered that. Observation. Observation. Um, and again, like I said, when I'm trying to pull on quote unquote aliens, right? I kind of get like, I feel like there's a block there, or it's something that I'm not supposed to know right now. But it's very hard to pull in on that as opposed to talking about other humans. So I just want to make note of that. I've never read on aliens before or this type of topic before. So this is new for me, but I can feel like when information doesn't flow to me like normal. So very, very interesting of note. Let's go here. Are the aliens from the spirit world? Are they angels or the watchers? Let's see. And before I read on this, Renaissance woman, listen, we can't forget that there are other countries around the world who've been always fighting and taking over stuff. Our country ain't the only one that's done it. Uh, not especially historically, right? Chinese have done it, Japanese have done it. Um, you got Greeks, you got Romans, even, some quote unquote Native American tribes will fight each other. Listen, it's just a human thing. So we ain't gonna blame it all on our country. We saw Germany doing it. I mean, historically we can see most humans ain't shit. So, but yeah, let's go here. Okay. Aliens from the spirit world, are they angels or the watchers? Okay, so the information that I'm getting about it is that it's not about, okay, travelers, right? Um, they're travelers. They don't really come here, like step foot here, like on the planet, but kind of like they're travelers. So maybe they are interdimensional. I'm seeing multiple worlds. So, or multiple modes of existence. As far as angelic or watchers, I mean, angels are angels, and this is your. I'm speaking as someone who worked with angelic spirits. Who working with the Hebrew, the Kabbalah. Kind of get into Enochian and that type of stuff. So I'm speaking as someone that has worked in those realms of magic, right? Angels are angels. Other spirit beings are other spirit beings, right? I know there's a lot of pop culture out here that says, oh, we're the watchers, or they're the watchers, or they're the evil Nephilim and all like that. And no, it don't work like that. a species being is one of its own. And like I said, again, I'm speaking as someone who has worked within these types of realms, right? I kind of get that they're travelers in between worlds. So I don't know if that's interdimensional, right? Um, Coming from somewhere else or not. Um, the sun in our solar system plays a part with that. I don't know how or what that means, but our sun plays a part in that. But yeah, I find that really interesting. Interesting. Okay, let me go down. Please do. We gonna see if it is starry-eyed with the link. Just reset. Okay, I answered that. Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if you all I watch things that I like to watch, right? One of the shows that I like to watch is um The Dead Files, where the woman, she's a medium and she works with a retired cop and they go around looking at the history of an area, and then she as an actual medium, she will tell people like, are there any spirits or anything like that in their land or haunting their houses? Anyway, there have been a couple of episodes on that show with regard to aliens, right? And even she said that, like, when she was picking up on them, that they would, whichever ones that she was picking up on, that they would kind of hide themselves as something else. So just speaking to that trickster element. Yeah. Okay, let's go to this question right here. Let me check my email and see. Because we're going to answer some of Journey with Karen's questions too. So we're going to answer these in the chat first, then we're going to get to Journey with Karen's because she did send me some emails for her questions. So, okay, let's see. I wonder how religious people will react to other entities. Girl, they not reacting to their own damn entities. How religious people act to other entities. Let's see. They ain't gonna be able to take it. They ain't gonna be able to take it. Reacting to other entities? Yeah, no. They ain't gonna be able to take it. They ain't gonna be able to take it. They ain't gonna be able to rest. It's gonna keep them up at night. They ain't gonna know what to do with themselves. Some of them, if some of them really, really knew, some of them might unalive themselves. Just is what it is. Yeah. So that's that right there. They ain't gonna be able to take it. That. All right, let's see. Would that disrupt a whole bunch of religious systems? Let's find out. Y'all know I have my Pisces mug. Pisces. Okay. Would that disrupt religious systems? It's funny, I haven't seen any great things representing great institutions come up. I find that very interesting. 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 Okay. Would it disrupt a whole bunch of religious systems? I don't see that. I see it as a mixing, like bringing new things in, right? And the evolution of religions, right? What do I mean by the evolution of religions? Evolution of religions to still keep the sense of I'm right, you're wrong, and everyone is separate, but including, right? Including new information, right? To kind of keep the wheel of things going. The people who can't take it, like I said, they may unalive themselves. People who can take it, I see them as still doing what they're doing as far as these religions go. Um, mixing the newness in to evolve the religions, right? Because now you can not only save, the people on the planet, but you can save the new things you just found out about, like as crazy as it sounds, because a lot of people, and some people don't want to hear this, a lot of people when it comes to religions, they don't have logic and reason, right? They don't have logic and reason. So, and then they're going to be like, and when I say expanding it, because if their God created everything, then their God created this too, right? So, yeah, as we're religious people, and this is no offense to some religious people are very, very weird. Very, very weird. Yeah. That's my show. Do you watch The Dead Files? I love The Dead Files. Girl, these things are everywhere. I bought this Zodiac cup in January of 2022. I bought a Pisces one and a Taurus one for Mr. Hoodoo. And I've been drinking out of I bought these in Tampa at a Ross. We were at Ross in Tampa in January 2022. I don't appreciate that it's red on the inside. Right, right, right. But it's Pisces. So my Zodiac cup, my water cup, holds about 17 ounces of water. So I'm good. I drink out of that all day. Okay. Yeah, the Dead Files is very, very interesting. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let me get to Journey with Karen's questions. And then we can start to wrap this up. Okay, I gotta read from my phone. Oh, goodness. Okay, so Journey with Karen said her first question is the destruction stateside coming in the form of a physical attack? Okay, so if there is destruction stateside, will it come in the form of a physical attack? Let's see. Okay, so answering her question, I don't see any destruction coming stateside in the form of physical attack. I don't see that. I don't see anything here saying attacking. I don't see anything like that here. I think that whatever it is that comes, there's going to be a lot of things that a lot of things are going to be hidden and interwoven in to different things. So almost like sleight of hand, right? With changes, sleight of hand. Um, I know, well, hopefully many people understand that a lot of times when something is pushed, it's the thing that's being pushed out in the open, out loud, is the cover for something on the back end, right? So just like right now, for example, the whole let's ban TikTok type thing, the let's ban TikTok thing, there's an actual like internet sovereignty, privacy thing that's attached to that, right? So just go, so it's not about the banning of TikTok. It's almost like um another version of the Patriot Act, right? So I kind of feel like there's going to be things layered in, and the attack will come secretly interwoven into things, but more of things that you can't do, things that you can't have, um, things that you can't do, things that you can't have, right? Owning less, less land, things like that. As far as the Great Reset, as far as this country is concerned. So let me get to her next question. Her next question is, how should we prepare? For example, growing our own crops or money wise. So let's see. Let's see. How should we prepare? Well, I know for Donna, those a lot of people you can go read the Apocrypha, right? The Apocrypha is available online for people to read. So you better go find the Apocrypha and read that before they remove that too. And all those, those books of Enoch, all the stuff that didn't make it in, right? So y'all better go read that stuff before it disappears off the internet. Okay, so yeah, she said, how should we prepare? Growing our own crops or money wise or whatever. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. The biggest thing is prepare for, people always think about the physical, right? And again, we're in this age of Aquarius. Prepare for intellectual battle. Okay? Prepare for intellectual battle, right? Prepare for, and it's not necessarily even about growing food or anything. I've been waiting for this card to show up. This is the institution card. This is the government card. This is the politics. These are the things that are very hard to change, rigid. Prepare for the intellectual battles. Prepare for dealing with governments, dealing with large institutions, dealing with corporations. Prepare for that type of battle. It's not even about necessarily food or whatever like that. I know we always talk about, or the theory is you got to grow your own food and you fighting these corporations, fighting the government on things, especially when it comes to knowledge and information. I feel like that's where we're going to have to really, really prepare. That's where it's going to be. It's going to be, again, the censorship, the things like that. That's where it's going to be. We have the swords here, that intellectual, that air connection, that communication, all the type. Prepare for that. This potentially could be AI as well. This has the potential to be AI, but I'm kind of getting more like information, what you know or don't know, is going to be very, very important information, right? And how corporations, companies, governments are going to leverage information, communication, keeping up with the rest of the world, what's happening, internet blackouts, newscast blackouts, being left in the dark. So communication systems, information, that is going to be important. That is going to be important. And it's going to start on a small scale, and it's going to escalate more and more and more. Like knowing how to do things as far as, gardening and like that, that's fine. Information. Information. Okay, let me see what's her next comment. What's her next question? She said, okay, this reset. She says, will the reset shape the world we see today? And if so, in what way? So let's put these in, let's find out. Exactly. And like I am a person, I have a lot of books on my Kindle. I'm about to start ordering actual books so I can have the books, because when you order something on Kindle, who's to say that they won't just erase it from the library? You know what I mean? Like the whole thought of you will own nothing. Yeah. So I'm just about to have a bunch of, like, I have, and a lot of them are like my spiritual books, my magical books, because, sometimes I'm like on a plane and I need to do something, right? So you can look at your Kindle and, work a ritual and no one else is, knows what you're doing. Whereas if you have this book, with such and such and such of magic on there, and that's the front cover and the back cover, and people looking at what you're doing, right? So I have to start getting into that as well, going back to physical copies, right? This is good. I'm gonna be almost done. I can get off of here close to 10. Will it change the world? If so, in what way? There is a potential. There is a potential for many people who are in power, corporations, there's a potential for them to lose out, for their industries and everything like that to crumble. The powers that be, there's a potential for that, but I think it's going to depend on how society as a whole, not you, not me, not the five of us here, how society as a whole plans their attack. Like you can't go off just doing something without a plan. You can't take action without a plan. So those who just jump and try and do stuff, that's not going to work. There's an actual plan that needs to be made by society as a whole. When we see people, not getting the health care they need because the insurance company is it's a whole sham. People's houses burn down. They can't get their house rebuilt because the insurance company is a scam. All these different things that affect so many different people in so many ways, but on a large scale, the only way it's going to reshape things, there has to be a plan put together, and the plan to actually change things, right? And then that will bring way to break down those powerful institutions. It has to happen with a plan. There's a potential for it because I'm looking at these cards here, but it's really just going to depend on things people coming together. Remember, I started out by saying coming together and fighting for things that are important, because there are so many important things going on, right? And I understand what it's like to be paralyzed by, okay, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. Where do you start, right? There's so many issues going on that keeps us so fractured, but there is potential. We just have to fight and make an effective plan. Like, I was so happy to see like people on Reddit like fighting, having the Reddit blackouts or whatnot. But then it only lasted for 2 days. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. You have to really, really do things for the long haul to push that change. And right now, a lot of these companies, corporations know that a lot of people just can't stick to just doing some of anything. They can't stick to doing just to a little bit of stuff. And I don't know if you know, remembering my rant last week, 2 weeks ago, you have to do the work. And that includes fighting for the change, right? Being active, fighting for the change. So that's how that would shape that. If we really got it together, we can take down and restructure the BS that's going on, right? Okay, let me see. Her final question. Okay, she said, will there be a physical reset along with a spiritual one? Let's see. Let's see. A physical reset along with the spiritual. Physical reset along with the spiritual one. This is perfect. I'll have enough time to wrap things up. Death card again. Okay. Ooh. 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 Okay. Her question was, will there be a physical reset along with a spiritual one? The answer to that is the reset is going to go, well, part of the reset is going to move from the physical and the material to things that matter the most. Now, like, this part of the reset. So the physical, the material, being materialistic, caring about all this other crap, caring about celebrities, all the other bullshit. It was going to go from that, which is part of the age of man, right? Man, earth, physical, right? Transformation to the spiritual. We have our lovely high priestess here. That is part of the age of the air, the unseen. You can't see emotions, the unseen, the caring, the doing for others. But that's going to be part of the reset. It's not going to be everybody, because everybody isn't spiritual, right? And that's okay. That's fine. But just part of a change, and we kind of see a little bit of it now. Like, I know we see like a lot of crap and trash out there, but like, even myself, and I've never been a materialistic person. I never have been. Do I like nice things? Yes. If I'm going to cry, it's better for me to cry in my BMW than on the bus. I'll be the first person to say that. But I find myself, Mr. Hoodoo finds himself, a lot of my family members and stuff find ourselves caring about the things that are important, the people we love, living a peaceful life, a peacefully energetic life, the simpler things, less of the hustle and bustle, not wanting to be in places where you feel like you have to energetically compete. Like, people keep moving to Atlanta, and like, someone had asked me, like, they had recently moved to Atlanta, and they were just like, why do so many people in the Atlanta area walk around like they have money when they actually don't have money. Like, why do they keep faking like that? I'm like, oh, that's a thing here. You know what I mean? So just all of those energies, like Mr. Hoodoo and I, like I said, we're getting ready to move because we don't even want to be in this type of energetics anymore. So there's going to be a move away from the physical, the ego, the materialistic, right? The transition into the things that really matter. Loving people, doing what's right, kindness, the law, the spiritual ideal, taking only what you need, not being wasteful. There is going to be a move to that. It won't be for everyone, but there's going to be a move to that. So yeah. Yeah. There's going to be a move, a transition for that. So transition to that. So yeah. Yeah, everyone. So wasteful, right? So wasteful. And I'm just like, so wasteful, just disregard for, like I hate driving past stuff and seeing like the trees cut down. Like, why? For some shopping plaza? Like, it's annoying. So yeah. Um, there are definitely gonna be some changes. There are definitely gonna be some changes. And it's gonna be interesting to see. But again, I think the biggest things are that whatever it is that's important to you, you're gonna have to fight for it. You're gonna have to fight for it because that's going to be the change. And I've seen people say like, hey, they want X, Y, and Z to happen, but they just don't want to be the one to work for it. Once again, the themes of, you have to do the work. Exactly. Like this is bananas to me, right? This is bananas to me, right? And like I said, the age of man has us in the age of man has us to where we, consumerism, spending, buying, um building, taking as much, that's all, that's the age of man, that ego that align with that type of energy, moving into, yeah, we're moving, for those of us, we're just moving into that. Like I said, just wanting to raise our families, wanting to be happy. No one should be out here living poor, but living comfortably. It's good to downsize, like all those different things, right? So we're moving into that. Some people have already started. There are going to be more people, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the change is happening now because, like I said, I even see it among myself, and like I said, I've never been a materialistic person, but like now, like I said, when I see certain things, I just literally cringe. Like when I see like people like hurting the animals or just like hunting animals for prize and stuff like that, like I literally cringe. Like my heart literally hurts to see that, right? We're downsizing. We don't want to, Mr. Hoodoo and I don't want to be in this. Atlanta's energy is just, it's so damn fake here. Like we don't go out into it unless we have to, go to the grocery store or, some like things that you have to do. We not in that because it's just one big facade. It's fake as hell here. And it wasn't always like that. Right. And we live in the suburbs and it's just like, we don't want to be here anymore. We literally want to be where things are slower, where we can reconnect with nature, like near the beach, and just do just we're fine and content, like with our happiness. Like I said, the things that matter, the people that really matter, the people who care about you. So there are a lot of, this is already happening, but we have to remember when we are looking at mainstream media, right? All the buying, the do this, the new car, this, the this, the this, the this, the this, the this, like those aren't the prevalent themes that you see because the age of man still is trying to hold on. So like, like I said, somebody asked about, like the birth decline. Yeah, having children is just to create future workers for the powers that be. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are fighting against it even that way. A lot of people not having children, right? So it's there. The energetics of this change is there. We just don't get to see a lot of it because that's not a mainstream thing. Right. There's plenty of food. Don't let people tell you there's not enough housing. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of housing. It's about access to things. Um, and stop letting people, so all of that. So, all right. All right. So, Renaissance woman said, yeah, they cut almost everything in Austin for businesses. Yeah, yeah. So definitely learn your, like I said, we said we want to get to wherever we're going so we can plant fruit trees and stuff so we can have them, right? Because it doesn't make any type of sense. Like we went to St. Croix and we wanted to bring some good mangoes back. Like someone we knew brought us some mangoes from their tree, but we were flying back to Atlanta. We couldn't bring the mangoes, but it's the same damn mangoes that you would buy in the store here. That makes no sense why you can't bring a fruit, the same one that grow in Florida on the trees, from a United States territory back to mainland United States. That makes no goddamn sense at all. I'm just like, this is bullshit. So we're just so over BS right now. We just literally want to go be hermits and live peacefully and quietly, vibing with nature. So that's us. That's what we want to do. So yeah, we're just like, we don't need that. Don't need this. Don't need that. Yeah. Yeah, no. First of all, yeah, no. We were in St. Croix, which is the United States. It's the same damn mango. But see, you know, yeah, it doesn't make any damn sense. It's a mango. It's a mango. It's a damn mango. So it wasn't like I was coming from a foreign country to the United States. It's literally the same damn mango. The same one that you can go get in Florida, that I can go get at the grocery store right now. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you all enjoyed this. And this was eye-opening for me as well. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect. And again, I just found it really interesting that I couldn't really pick up on quote unquote aliens as far as like energetics. It's almost like something was blocking, like energetically blocking, like couldn't, maybe because aliens quote unquote aren't human. I don't know, but it was literally hard to try and pick up on that. So yeah, it was so dumb, Empress Kia, because it was a mango. A mango. The same mango you get at the store. It's just on the tree. It's on the tree. It was, and they were so nice and ripe too, because mangoes are my favorite fruit. Mangoes and blueberries. I love like the small kidney mangoes. Those are my favorite. So they threw Mr. Hoodoo's mangoes away. I was just like, next time I ain't gonna say shit. and we're going to have the mangoes. But yeah, so this was very interesting. This was very interesting. And yeah, if there are causes that you are passionate about, fight for them. Because the changes that happen personally to your world, right, are really going to depend on what you fight for and what's important to you as far as this reset. Um, yeah, it's really going to depend. Like I said, for men, women's issues don't matter to most men because they're men. They don't go through what we go through as women, right? Um, but we as women, having the A word for those who want to have one, I think they should be able to have one, especially, in a lot of different cases, with this foolery going on out here. I'm glad it wasn't when I was pregnant because I had a miscarriage, and I don't need nobody trying to tell on me saying that I, did that, trying to send me, you know what I'm saying? Like the changes are going to definitely depend on what's important to you, um, what you take stock in. And remember that, there are a lot of distractions out here. There are a lot of distractions out here. And, people always say, like, oh, this is just a distraction from this. A lot of times, no, but in this case, yeah, there are lots of distractions. I advise everyone to learn and understand the political game of the world, right? It's a lot of stuff happening in the world. And that's one reason why I definitely like going to like Reddit, um, the website Reddit, because what you see on the local news is BS. You can see a lot of what's going on in the actual world on Reddit, right? When I go to, if you stay at a resort and they have BBC America or like Al Jazeera News, you see a lot of what's really going on in the world besides the stupid little dumb shit, The Voice, or whatever entertainment news bullshit that's out there. There's a lot of shit happening in the world. And the way that globalization is, there's a potential for things, to change in so many different other places. But yeah, there are a lot of distractions out here. A lot of them. Right? So just make sure that you're paying attention to the things that are important to you. Information is key, is disappearing off the internet, right? Because if you know something, no one can tell you that bullshit. Knowledge has always been power. It still will be, right? Make sure you doing your downloads, external drives, printing stuff out, getting you some folders. I mean, because there's, let's just say that the internet goes down or whatever, or the power goes out and you can't access something. Information, right? Information is important. So, yeah, this has been really interesting. Really interesting. Really been interesting. So, I think, hey, Isis. Hey, Isis. Yeah, I really thank everyone. Girl, buy your Kindle books and then buy yourself some real books because it's so funny. I was talking to someone who bought the same Kindle book that I have. They're missing pages in their Kindle book. Like I have pages in my Kindle book that they don't have in their Kindle book. So even the Kindle books can be different from Kindle book to Kindle book. So the only way she knew hers were missing was because I told her to go look on such and such page in the Kindle book. She didn't have the page. So go get you some physical copies. Go get some physical copies of your books and print stuff out because, honey, Internet Archive is disappearing. A lot of stuff is disappearing. A lot of, the echo chambers, information is going to be key. Yeah, so you are so welcome. Thank you, Starry Eyed. This will be moving to my Patreon. This is going to be a Patreon patrons only video because we kind of went not completely left, but yeah, we went left just a little bit. I'm teaching a lot over there. What else? The tarot reading course starts August 7th. For right now, if anything changes, I'll let everyone know. Tarot course starts August 7th. Payment plans available. I'm out of town this weekend. We're going to Tampa. My schedule is pretty open next week if anyone needs like readings and stuff like that, because this week was pretty much blocked off. Yeah, so readings and all that stuff, schedule your stuff. Patreon, this is going on Patreon. I'm teaching over there on Patreon. Let's try to get, if you know people who are interested in this type of stuff or who may learn something from my channel or get something from my channel, share. I'm almost at 400 subs. I would like to reach 1,000 and be monetized before this year is over with. Because I know y'all like sending little super stickers and stuff like that. But yeah, help your girl out. But yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Thank you to my Patreon patrons who made this possible. I really, really appreciate you all. Yeah, yep, she bought the Constitution. Yup. Yep. All those good things. So, and a lot of people don't notice it because, I mean, let's be pretty honest about it. Last year, everybody was doing that dumbass Beyonce TikTok dance and recording it on TikTok. Now, I'm not saying you can't have no fun, but we just talked about distractions, right? Distractions. I want to do a TikTok. Yeah. So there are plenty of distractions out here. Plenty of distractions out here. So make sure you all undistract yourselves and really, really pay attention to things. Don't be afraid to go down the internet rabbit holes. A lot of information out here. Don't listen. I mean, we all know it's the truth, Tequila. We know it's the truth. Everybody was doing it. Everybody was doing that shit last year, and I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking throw up if I see this shit one more time. This is so dumb. I've never seen a bunch of people geeked to record 20 seconds of themselves to put on the internet. I've never seen that before. Just like Nyla was talking about yesterday, basic ass shit people be excited about. And I'm just like, okay. Listen, y'all do what you do. Just watch out for the distractions. That's all. Just watch out for the distraction. Some people just, yeah. Like I had the TikTok. I think I deleted it off my phone because I was just like, I'm not gonna even use this. I'm really not. Like I try to, but I'm just like I really can't. I just can't do it. That's me. But yeah, there's so many people running around, and now people just doing everything to be seen on the internet. Like should have never gave y'all internet. And now while they out here doing dumb shit, they literally trying to censor and fully dictate what happens on the internet. So yeah, that should have never gave y'all niggas internet is about to come true. Yeah, so all right, y'all. Let me go upstairs because Mr. Hoodoo done been down here looking around, peeking to see what I'm doing. Okay, everybody. I love y'all. Like I said, once it's finished uploading, is going to my Patreon. I hope to see more of you over there. Yeah, I had the TikTok because people were just like, oh, you should get on TikTok and just, like do the things and do the card readings. And I'm just like, I don't have the energy. I was like, okay, well, maybe it's a good idea. But then the whole trying to force content on people thing, I'm just like, I can't do that. It's not authentic to me, right? It's not to try and put myself on some higher up, I'm better than you thing. It's just some things I literally just energetically not part of who I am. And that's just one of them. So all right, y'all, yeah. Let me get out of here for real. I love you all. Thank you for supporting. Thank you, thank you, thank you to my patrons. I love you all. Probably be back next week with live tarot readings answering your questions. So that will be next week. I have a birthday party dinner to go to tomorrow. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm out of town. Monday, I'll be back. So yeah, Wednesday next week, we'll be back with live tarot readings like we normally do here. If I have time, can look into, because the summer solstice is next week. Very important time, right? Energetically. Summer's ushering in, spring will be over as far as the northern hemisphere is, concerned. We have a new moon coming on Sunday. A lot of things energetically happening within a short period of time. So, yeah, just I may touch base on that if I have the time. Because like I said, I'm going to a birthday party dinner tomorrow, out of town the weekend. So, yeah. Love you all. I will see you all in these streets. I think Nyla may be live tonight. So if she is, I'll see you all over there. All right, everybody. Take care.